Okay, you might have heard over the weekend that trans people were upset about the Aretha Franklin song Natural Woman. In fact, it was published today in the Daily Mail and in other outlets. It turns out that the whole thing was a prank and the mainstream media fell for it. So I put out a video earlier today after seeing the account, which I'll read you some of the tweets from the account. I could tell it was a parody account. And so I suggested to people that it might be, but the mainstream media, I've spoken with the person who runs the account. The mainstream media didn't contact them before running with their stories. So I'll show you the story. They just revealed themselves. The story was that the Aretha Franklin song Natural Woman is transphobic because there is no such thing as a natural woman. So here's the headline from the Daily Mail. Now Aretha Franklin song Natural Woman deemed offensive to trans women. Outrage as activists demand song is removed from Spotify and Apple Music. So activists demand, right? And check this out. If you do a Google search for Aretha Franklin, this is just some dude who thought he'd make a joke. Here's what comes up if you Google Aretha Franklin and go to news. It says Aretha Franklin song deemed offensive. Aretha Franklin song, A Natural Woman, blasted by transgender activists, says the New York Post. Sky News Australia says Aretha Franklin song, Natural Woman, deemed offensive. The Washington Examiner says transgender activists demand international ban on Aretha Franklin's A Natural Woman. Okay. All those news agencies could have contacted this Twitter account. People didn't know. People were tweeting like it was real. But I'll read you some of the tweets. Here's the account. Trans Cultural Mindfulness Alliance. They started tweeting a few days ago on January 20th. And now the account has just switched, minutes ago from this time right now. They announced that they were parody satire, but before that, it didn't say this on the account. It didn't say parody satire. It said founded January 2023 exclusively by trans individuals, promoting cultural changes to ensure the inclusivity of trans individuals. And the original tweet was this. I'll share the thread. Aretha Franklin's 1968 song, Natural Woman, perpetuates multiple harmful anti-trans stereotypes. There is no such thing as a natural woman. This song has helped inspire acts of harm against transgender women. TCMA is requesting it is removed from Spotify and Apple Music. Okay. So basically, they said this. They were joking, the person behind the account. It was satire, but satire has become indistinguishable from reality, at least for some people. And the only people who asked questions to the account holder were right-wing media, Fox News and the Daily Wire. And then I knew it was a parody, but I did do a news story, talked about how trans people say that Natural Woman is offensive and should be banned. They went on to say another song, Lady Marmalade, should also be banned. But there were clues. It's amazing. It's amazing anybody fell for this. There were clues. I'll read you the tweet that got me convinced. But it was a hilarious account while it lasted. At least to me, right? I know they'll say it was transphobic and he was trying to make trans people look bad. I mean, I get that. Okay, so now there's going to be a backlash. So they tweeted out that the song Lady Marmalade by Patti LaBelle assumes that only cisgender women can be sex workers. The song is inherently transphobic and does a disservice to all those in the trans sex work community. So that was also, this person also said, I almost assumed a pronoun for them, that they were looking for financing for a one-of-a-kind website called Pronounpedia. That was also suggested on there. Meanwhile, people are taking this all seriously, which again, it tells you something that people didn't know the difference. And it also tells you something that people on the left didn't know the difference. But the Washington Examiner reported it too. Trans activists. It's not a trans activist. It's somebody who thinks trans people are funny and chose to impersonate a trans person or what they thought a trans person might say. So this is the tweet that got me, I'll tell you. There were a lot of funny tweets. He said, Lionel Richie's song 3 Times a Lady is a musical masterpiece that should be incorporated into drag queen sets. The song is actually about a non-binary woman. She switches genders 3 times in the course of their relationship, but this has been silenced. Kudos to Lionel. That was a tweet. This was a tweet from yesterday. My 8-year-old son, Jonah, came up to me this afternoon and asked me what a she-male was. I immediately asked him where he had heard that term, and he told me it was on YouPorn. TCMA is immediately calling on YouPorn to ban the use of this harmful and outdated term. So, okay, obviously. And people responded, you let your 8-year-old watch porn? So that was when I knew. Okay, it's a parody. They insisted, though, that they weren't a parody account. I'm trying to book the person on my show to talk to him. I think it's funny, but I think now there might be a backlash to it. So I'm reporting it to you just as it happened. But now trans people might be outraged. They might be outraged, even though they weren't before. No trans people said, oh, this is a person impersonating. I mean, you noticed that, right? No trans people came out and said, oh, this is a fake account. No trans person would ever say this, right? I mean, that's the problem people have, is they thought to themselves, oh, is this something a trans person might say? And universally, almost, people thought yes, even though this person was joking. So thanks for tuning in for this. If you want to support the show, check out our shirts over at truthclothing.io. We have some really epic t-shirts and hoodies that you could check out. I'll show you the website. I see other YouTubers run ads, so I'll run an ad. This is our website, Truth Revolution Clothing. These videos are all demonetized, so check out these shirts, though. Go to truthclothing.io. You can pick one up. And check out my live show most days at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see about tonight because Crowder is going to be on Tim Pool. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I read them. And we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.